What's up, guys? Daniel from Block Pass Moto, here to talk a little bit of Southwick and going forward what we're looking forward to in Spring Creek and the rest of the motocross season. First, today we're going to start with 450 stuff. We saw a return to winning ways for Jet Lawrence. It's kind of been a little while for him, and a lot of mistakes lately. It seems like both of the Lawrences have been making a lot of mistakes, which is a bit uncharacteristic historically for them, but still they're winning everything. Uh, it's not been great as of late, but they're still the only two dudes to win a 450 moto so far this season, and it's starting to feel more and more like it ends that way. We're not going to get Lucas Coenen at Ironman anymore. It doesn't sound like, kind of sounds like that might have been scratched from the docket for both of the Coenens before Southwick even started, but we're not getting any more winning riders at this point, in my opinion. Eli Tomac is coming back this weekend for Spring Creek. That's awesome. Love that. But I don't personally expect Eli Tomac to just be a guy who can win right away. I don't think that Eli's gonna be on the podium this weekend in Spring Creek. I think that the Lawrences, Hayden Deegan now, maybe even Jorge are probably just a little bit ahead of Eli. Eli's been out for quite a while. This injury is legit, but anyhow, like I was saying with the Lawrences, Jet comes back. He goes 2-1, and he was rocking this custom ankle saver type setup, which is kind of funny. They talk about it like it's a brand new thing that they made, and it's cool. It's a unique, like, special piece, but the idea has been around for like 20 years. There's plenty of these products on the market that exist, but it seemed to work for Jet in the sand. This specific piece that they had is different. It's designed a little differently to help specifically with what Jet's dealing with. It's a factory part that somehow got turned around in 12 hours, I think he was saying, Lars Lindstrom was saying, from the original sketch idea to actually being, a real physical piece that could fit onto the bike. So that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, Jet responds after, a rough last round. Rough for him is getting third overall. It's kind of funny, not winning is rough. He takes the lead and controlled the race. It kind of felt like Jet broke that thing open after the final 10 minutes in Moto 1. It felt like, yeah, he got the start, he kind of controlled it, took it, and then uh, Jet, he had his gift receipt ready from last week in Redbud, returned that gift back to Hunter, said, "Here, man, here's your Moto 1 victory," tips it over, gives it back, and then Hunter returns the returned gift in Moto 2. Um, I don't I don't know. Hunter was saying that he hit a false neutral in Moto 2 on that tip over. It sounds about right. Again, it's so weird to see them having these little mistakes, these little tip overs, and I don't know. I don't know if it's something with the Honda or if these guys are really just kind of pushing to a new level that maybe they're not as used to, as comfortable with. But Hunter went 1-4 um, after his tip over. Moto 2 gave up a few more positions. Still good for second, but not what Hunter wanted to do on a day where I'm honestly, Hunter probably thinks that he should go 1-1 for all of these races, and I can't say that he's wrong necessarily. Like, if I was in Hunter's position, would probably think the same thing. I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't. Deegs 3-2, he grabs third. Like I said, Moto 2, Hunter crashed, kind of gave that one to Deegan, and Prado gets fourth. And then Garrett rounding out the top five. Garrett Marchbanks 5-5, looking great. Doesn't matter if it's the sand. Doesn't matter if it's deep ruts. He's gonna ride well. He's gonna finish deep in the top 10, compete for some top fives, and then he's going to tell you that the track sucks. That's Garrett's current method. If you've ever seen any of his post race interviews, Garrett will like ride really well, and then immediately say that the track was ass and that the people prepping it have no clue what they're doing. I think that's awesome. Um, Moto 2 for Jet, didn't it kind of feel like he could have passed Hayden at any moment? Like it really felt like Jet was kind of toying with his food there in Moto 2 behind Deegs. He passed Deegan right in front of Brian Deegan. I don't know if you guys saw this. Hayden got passed by Jet in Moto 2 directly in front of his dad. Some people think that might be on purpose. I don't know. I think that it was probably just the best spot for the pass for Jet. He felt like he was faster there would be my guess. But it is kind of funny, especially when it really did feel like Jet was just kind of sitting there waiting, buying time, and then when it was go time, it was go time and Jet Lawrence still does Jet Lawrence things, man. He's not 100%, but there are those moments where he looks 100%, if that makes sense. Um, it's like he can be 100% for 10% of the time right now, is what it feels like. And then for the other 90% of the time, he's about 90%. And it's usually going to be good enough to contend for titles and probably win them depending on, who else is on top. And right now, Hunter Lawrence is on his game in a way that I don't think anybody necessarily thought was going to happen. If you go back 5 years, nobody thought Hunter was going to be here. And that's an incredible testament to not just Hunter's work ethic and all that, but the whole family like really sticking together and Dazzy being able to raise these two in this way is kind of crazy. I can't even imagine being at one of these events and like watching your kids battle for the highest level of championship. That's insane. And that's the world that Darren Lawrence lives in right now. And dude, it's working for him, man. Whatever they're doing, it's working. Speaking more Lawrence stuff, the the Jet and Hayden thing at the line. Did you guys see this? I'm sure everybody's seen this on their socials and whatnot. But Jet's sitting on the line talking to Hayden. They're like sat next to each other at the gates, and what was it? Jet was saying something about what's your excuse, man? Like my ankle's killing me. What's your excuse? And Hayden says, I don't need one. And Jet Jet tells him, man, if I was you, I'd start coming up with my excuse. And dude, it's not a good time to be a Deegs fan, it seems. There's there's Deegan fans I've seen on like Twitter and stuff saying that, oh, the Yamaha's not fast enough. It's the bike. That's why he can't keep up with the Honda boys. Dude, I'm not buying that. I'm not even entertaining it. That's stupid. Hayden's gonna be fine. He's a rookie and he's doing well. Honestly, this is a really good year for Hayden. He just should have not said anything before this. He shouldn't have shown up wearing a stupid like RIP Jet shirt. He shouldn't have been doing the TikTok sound bites with the guy's girl. Like, dog, just give it a second. You're coming into this as like a 20-year-old kid. Like, bro, just relax, man. Just come in under the radar, do the work, because you know Hayden's gonna do the work and be good. But all the extracurricular shit is kind of silly. I don't know. It's not for me. If you're 17, you probably love this. You think this is awesome, cool, whatever, dude. If you like it, I love it. But sometimes it's entertaining, and on this particular occasion, quite entertaining to see the Hayden and Jet back and forth a little bit. Um, Jet, I don't know if he's that quick-witted or if he was coming in with a plan, setting that one up, and then just, popping it. It felt like he was setting up a self alley-oop or something. Slammed it through, though, and got the dub, too. 2-1. Probably should have been 1-1 for Jet on the day. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe should have been 1-2, but I personally feel like Jet probably was going to catch Hunter at some point in Moto 2. Who knows, dude? Hunter's been on a different level. Anyway, Lucas Coenen, we had Lucas Coenen in the 450s uh, for a little bit this weekend, unfortunately. Lucas was incredible in practice. He was fastest in the first time qualifying session. He looked great. Moto 1, he had a great jump off the gate. He was deep into the turn. I thought that it was going to be Lucas and Jet just going at it all of Moto 1, and I was so stoked to watch that. And and then, tipped over in the first turn all the way back to I think 39th. Maybe one guy pulled off 40th, whatever. Lucas Kunin went from last to like seventh in what 3, 4 laps or something stupid like that. Like unbelievable pace in the sand. Lucas was flying. He got all the way up to fourth past Jorge Prado, which is insane. I didn't expect Jorge to kind of not have anything for Jorge or for Lucas. Um, this is another MXGP guy. This is a guy who's going to be his teammate next year. These guys want to beat their teammates, I'm sure. For Jorge to be a two-time champion, it kind of means something to beat the other GP guy. And he didn't really seem like he had anything for him. But it didn't look like anybody else really had anything for Lucas as he was coming through the crowd either. I mean, he was passing like two dudes in one straightaway, get another in the next turn. It was insane. Like go back and watch Moto 1 of Lucas Kunin shredding. It was beautiful. And then unfortunately late in Moto 1 for Lucas, he had an ugly crash. I I don't know what happened. I don't have the data, but it certainly looked like a bike issue to me. Will KTM say it's a bike issue? I hope so. That's a guy you're bringing over next year. If it was a bike issue, you should probably admit it. But these brands are so afraid to admit that there's a bike issue because they really think that the consumer is stupid enough to think that the KTM you buy at your local dealership is going to cut out because the one that Lucas Kuhnen rode cut out. Like, no, the one that Lucas Kuhnen rode is a totally different build. It's built for way different things. You don't ride like Lucas Kuhnen. This is all ridiculous. This is all ridiculous. Sometimes athletes pushing at the highest level are going to push machinery past its breaking point, especially when the machinery is kind of only designed to like last for 40 minutes in a sense. And I said the same thing about Cali. That shit was stupid when they were trying to blame Chase, except for that one's even worse because you know that he's having issues with the bike and then the bike legitimately cuts out. You have a bike issue. Dan Fahey, you have a bike issue. Um, yeah, I don't care, dude. Whatever. But yeah, the bike cut out and the guy got hurt because of it. And then for these companies to just be like, we don't know. No, we don't know. Oh, it's probably a rider error. Like, dude, these guys are getting hurt riding for your team. Have some respect for the guy, honestly. I don't know. We'll probably just never hear anything about it again um from KTM, which is a far better option than blaming the rider. Everybody keep that in mind. If you ever want to run a team, don't be stupid enough to blame your rider for things that are just a mechanical. Mechanicals happen. Speaking of mechanicals, Antonio Cairoli, he looked uh, great in the second moto. I think he was running seventh when the bike stopped on him. DNF. It happens. Um, but for some reason, when a guy crashes and gets hurt, these bike manufacturers will try to blame the guy instead of taking any accountability. But you guys know I love to rant about that. But Moto 1, it kind of felt like Deegan was holding on in third for maybe longer than I've ever seen him do. But he still loses by more than 20 seconds to the Lawrence brothers. It's like they reach like a certain point in the moto and it's nobody can do that pace anymore and it's over. Like that's it. It's done so. And it kind of feels like it's just going to keep going that way. We're getting the Lawrence brothers summer. Regardless of who wins the title, it'll probably be a Lawrence. I think anything else would be like kind of you need a lot of things to fall your way if you're Deegan or Prado. But anyhow, the Deegan Jorge battle, that's getting weird. I don't know what to expect. Some weeks it'll feel like Jorge's kind of figured it out. He's gonna be fine. And then he's just nowhere near Deegan the next moto. And then when Deegan gets him, he'll go faster. I don't know. Is I think Jorge just needs to start trying to get these starts. I don't know. I think that maybe he's a little afraid to get the start and then fade because it might happen. But how you gonna learn the pace, dude? You're not gonna catch him, so you might as well just start in front of him. Because I think Jorge's more than capable of starts. I watched MXGP the last couple of years he was in there. It felt like he got every single hole shot, and if he didn't, he was second. And now there's a lot of starts where it feels like Jorge's 5 to 10, but I don't know. I don't know what to do with the Jorge thing. I don't know if he's the third best guy or the fifth best guy. Sometimes it feels like RJ and Garrett might start catching Jorge, and then it's like he realizes who's behind him, and then he picks it up a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if it's the fitness. It feels like there's something to the fitness side of it with Jorge, but maybe he's been sick. Who knows? These writers don't say anything. I really want Jorge to do well. It'd be awesome to see a new winner. I think he'd be a great candidate for it. The story of it, him coming back to KTM after the treacherous year at Cowie, but still not there yet. Thought Redbud would be it. Thought Southwick had a good shot to be it. He's great in sand. And just hasn't. Last year, if you remember last year, Jorge said that if he was on a different bike, he would have won this race, which is crazy to say while you're still under contract for a team, but he did. He said that. He said he would have won this race on the right bike. He's on the right bike now. This is the bike he wanted to be on, the team he wanted to be with, and he got fourth. I expected more from Jorge Prop. I don't know. Maybe I just have really high expectations because I've seen what Jorge can do. I've seen who Jorge is, and this is a guy who wins at like every level. And so for him to still not really be doing things that I don't know. I don't know, I'm just uh not as impressed as I would like to be with Jorge. I think it would be awesome if we had five guys who can win. Right now we've got two. It is what it is right now. But we'll see. Maybe things change here. But right now it kind of feels like Deegan's starting to get to that spot. I think that Deegan's probably the third best guy, almost definitively now, and we'll see how that keeps going. Cornelius Tondel on the factory Cowie, something we all knew was gonna happen. Everybody was saying it since January. Drop Chase and get corn dog. No, but for real though, Tondo, good ride. 913 for 11th overall. Top 10 in the moto. I think he crashed a few times in Moto 2, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he was pretty close to getting a top 10 overall. He very well could have been top 10 in both motos. I think. If he had a better Moto 2, which I'm pretty sure he had a crash on, I think he could have got there. One thing that's really cool is so Tondo was on the International Supercross race team, which is like the dumbest team name ever for a motocross team. But I mean, I guess it works for when you're at WSX rounds. But anyhow, he was on that team, the International Supercross race team, and got the fill in ride at Factory Cowie. So, International Supercross race team has actually filled their ride with Mark Phineas, who I think was just running his own full privateer set, and he'd been riding really well. So, congratulations, Mark Phineas, getting on a team. Shouts out to International Supercross race team. I might make fun of the name, but this is awesome. This is great. More dudes getting rides. They didn't need to do this. I, like they are choosing to support another rider because they can, and that rules. I love that. Great for the sport. Good for Mark Phineas. Great for Cornelius Tondel. Let's go. Love it. Great stuff. Um, But yeah, like I was saying earlier, Eli Tomac returns from injury. We don't have Justin Cooper back yet. It kind of seemed like that was going to happen, uh, but not yet. So we'll move on to our 250 side of the story, and let's should we just jump right in? I think we might as well. We got to start with Sasha Kunin, 1-1, and it was insane. I if you guys watch Southwick, I don't know how you can leave that not a Sasha Kunin fan, or at least a fan of watching Sasha ride the bike, because it was insane. What a treat. How how many guys ride like that? Like Stu on the 125, like just insane speed everywhere. It felt like he was on a completely different level, and it also felt like Sasha was going to crash every single jump. It felt like he was pushing that thing to the absolute limit, and that's an awesome thing to watch. It's gotta be really scary to watch though. I know I mentioned Lucas's crash. I don't know if I mentioned real quick, didn't race Moto 2, doesn't seem to be injured, rattled, shaken up a little bit maybe, but is set to race at Fox Hills for MXGP stuff. Not terribly worried about Lucas there. So Sasha though, 1-1. That first moto, he had like a pulled the start, and I those first few turns in that first lap was nuts. He like kissed the fender at one point. I don't understand how that dude stayed on the bike. I think he won by 32 seconds or something like that. He stomped the field. I If you're like routing Team USA ideas, I don't know that any of this is going to work. Like I don't think there's any shot we're winning this thing. If Sasha's on the 250, dude, what do we got? Like Sasha on the 250 might be able to put in one of those special like Villapoto 250 type rides. I'm not saying Sasha could win against 450s on the 250. I think that's a bit like far fetched at this point with the way that the research and development has kind of changed the bikes. But Sasha is gonna be the highest placing 250 rider at MXON, and hopefully you only need one of his moto scores. So we'll see. But for Team USA, like for USA riders, US based circuit, the AMA circuit, AMA Pro Motocross 250 class, this is not a good look. This dude just he's ran 4 motos here. He crashed twice in the first one and didn't win, got like 13th, and then he's gone 1-1-1 since then. Sasha's won 3 out of the 4 motos that he's competed in here, and as long as he survives the 2027 Supercross season, I think Sasha should be like a heavy odds-on favorite to win the title next year for AMA 250 motocross. It's ridiculous, but Moto 1 stomps everybody. Moto 2, Sasha doesn't get the great start, has to ride behind for a little while, catches up to the leader, Cole Davies, and when he got him, he was just instantly gone from him. His speed is crazy, the fitness, insane. I think Cole might have been fading a little bit at that point, but regardless, Sasha was not fading at all. It felt like he was continuing to run better and better laps. And then while he was, I think, 12 seconds ahead, still balls to the wall, Sasha had a heavy crash, and I I don't think he broke the collarbone in this crash. I think that he cracked it, fractured it at this point, because I don't know, man. It's hard to say with like adrenaline, but I don't think you're hopping back on the bike. I don't think it's going to be an easy thing to pick that bike up and get back on it. But Sasha got back on the bike with whatever injuries he had at that point from the crash. He bonked his head pretty hard, tossed the goggles off, goes no goggles at Southwick. That's a ballsy move, even if you're leading, even if there's only, 5 minutes left. But Sasha crashes crashes his brains out in front of everybody and gets back on the bike and pulls away again from Cole Davies. what are we talking about, dude? This is insane. Like, this is a superhero ride from this kid. I I, I want to, like, I can't shut the hell up about it. It's insane. He comes off the track and immediately they're like trying to help him with whatever, getting him water. They're screaming in his face, "Let's go! Ah, I want one!" And Sasha's like, "I broke my collarbone." like he's just like, "Please help get my helmet off." But apparently Sasha went to Texas in the morning, got this, the collarbone plated. Um, I think it was a true break all the way through. So my theory, some sort of fracture, injure, he cracked it, fractured it in the crash, and that on the final lap or two, I'm guessing he probably did the full breakthrough, which is probably for the best, honestly, because now he's getting it plated, and Sasha, barring just doctor's approval, is supposed to race this weekend in the MX2 MXGP circuit for Fox Hills in UK. Hopefully, this doesn't, mess up any title thing. I, dude, if somehow neither of them wins this title, this would be tragic. But I really do think they figure it out. I think Sasha is probably going to be less of himself this weekend, but I think he'll be all right long term. I think he's 14 up, I want to say. Meanwhile, Lucas shouldn't be injured necessarily, just a little shaken up. In the 450 class, he holds like a 60 something point lead. So the Coenens should be all right. They should be able to wrap up their titles and then take them to the United States. Nobody's running number ones next year in MXGP would be my guess, and my hope, honestly, at this point. I I would hate to see something like this ruin the likelihood of stuff like this happening in the future. These one-off events where a guy might come race the other circuit, vice versa. I'd love to see more of the US guys racing the GPs on off weekends too. I think that would be awesome. But regardless, I would hate to see this be the end of these types of rides. I've I find it kind of interesting that it happened at Southwick. Everybody kind of looked forward to Southwick as the one where things would really potentially go well for the Coonens, and they were fast. They were incredibly fast. They looked great on the bikes. It's hard to say Sasha was anything but a success going 1-1, but when you break your collarbone at a race that doesn't matter for the championship you're truly competing in, it's hard to say it's a win too. So I don't know, but hopefully they'll do well this weekend in Fox Hills. I think it's been a while since they've raced there, so that'll be cool. Um, but yeah, we always talk about how Sasha is either going to win or he's going to crash hard, and on this one we got both. He won after exploding himself, and that's just gnarly. It feels like he's kind of hands down the best 250 rider in the world at this point, and it's this isn't a great look for us. But on the terms of collarbones, it seemed like that was a bit of a theme this weekend. The red plate holder in our series here for 250s was Joe Shimoda, and he broke his collarbone in practice and also sustained a concussion. It's now been announced that Joe is going to miss the rest of at least the Pro Motocross season. I'm not sure if there's any plans for SMX return. At one point, it sounded like he might try to race Millville, but kind of seems like that's definitely not going to happen. He's not going to race any more Pro Motocross, and hopefully he'll be back for SMX, but we will see. Kind of felt like Davies missed a pretty big opportunity here to give himself a nice points cushion over Levi Kitchen, who's not been great as of late. It kind of feels like Levi is just just a tick off, and maybe that changes this weekend here in Spring Creek. I think that um, I think Levi's pretty good there. There's been a lot of races where I remember him riding really well at Millville, so hopefully we'll see this this title battle really starting to heat up here between Davies and Kitchen in the final half of this season, I guess. But Yeah, because this was round 6 of 11, so we're past the halfway point now, and yeah, Davies holding the title for red plate for right now. Chance Hymas, we saw some signs of life. Moto 1. It looked like Chance felt pretty confident. I don't know. He was kind of spicy early on, wasn't he? He was like really competing, pushing for the top 3 there at first, and maybe the fitness wasn't there, but he uh he was racing. He was riding good, dude. I was impressed at least. But that's uh that's kind of all I got for today. But thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a like, subscribe, comment. Who do you guys think is going to win these titles at this point? Man, I would pick Joe all year, and it really felt like it was gonna happen, but now it's obviously over, and I'm gonna if I gotta switch a pick, it's got to be Davies at this point for the 250. I don't foresee Levi turning it around in a dramatic enough fashion, but that's why we go and line up these races. Anything can happen. Davies had a few crashes already this season, so we'll see. But 450s, man, the Jet and Hunter battle is getting crazy. Jet reclaims the red plate, I'm pretty sure, this last weekend. And I'm gonna lean on history here, and I'm gonna say that Jet gets it done. I've picked Jet to win this title, and as long as Jet's racing, until something proves me wrong, I think I'm gonna keep predicting that Jet will win titles as long as he enters the season healthy. So that's what I got for today. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'll talk to you later.